Welcome back to another episode, my brave and beautiful humans. I am so excited to have my new friend, Kirk McLaren, with me today. We've chatted once before, but he's such an extraordinary human, and I know that he has a lot of expertise and experience that I know he is more than happy to share with us. So I'm excited to have him here with us today. Welcome, Mr. Kirk. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. And TJ, I've been looking forward to this. We had a good phone call several months ago, and then now we're here to kind of share the stories and stuff. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, sir. Oh, I loved our conversation that we had. I think we talked longer than half an hour. We just had so much to say. We finally had to hang up. But yeah, it's I love that you are already a published author. You actually have worked in the same industry I'm in currently before, I think, in finance,
Hmm.
corporate finance. So you kind of understand what I go through on a daily basis.
Yes, nonstop.
Exactly.
The corporate stuff, and it's big. It's big stakes, right? The money, the making payroll,
Oh,
depending on how big or small the company is. It's not always easy, as it most time it's not. So
no, no. It definitely is one of the higher stress jobs, I would say, in corporate America.
yeah,
But that's my opinion after being in it for a little over 20 years. So, um, but it's okay. I mean, like I was telling you before we started, that's why I created my meditation. The 7 days of soul scrubbing was kind of to help me get through each day of being stressed out a little bit, but it really
yeah.
does work. So I'm excited to really get to know you a lot better and for our listeners to know you. I think the one thing that I really wanted to ask you, because I don't think I might have had someone on here before that was in a high stress position like me, but um, I'm not really sure now that I think about it. But when when you get up in the morning, do you have a routine? Do you have habits that you do that really get your day going? Because I know as an entrepreneur and a person who um, gets up every day at 5, I have to have certain routines.
Yeah,
And I think that makes you more accomplished
yeah.
in your area. So, do you do anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I wish I was smarter, like early in my life, in my 20s, where I could have gone out and collaborated with people like you. Hey, what do you do with success? How do you get your mind right? I wish I'd have had that kind of wisdom, but I didn't. I grew up in Houston, Texas. Mom from upper state New York, dad from Utah, so good values, but grew up in Houston. And self-made man, I'm gonna go out and just do things the hard way. So what the journey brought me to is it brought me to the point where what I do now is every morning I get up, I'm listening to, for me, there's an app called Hollow on the phone. I listen to it, and it's more like spiritual kind of stuff, and that I start out there, and then I might switch to something more, a certain message, something going on YouTube while I'm getting ready in the morning. So I'm getting the mind right first, right, and waking up, and quite frankly thankful. I'm waking up, I'm healthy, because some
Exactly.
days I've had days where the sciatic nerve in the back, and I've learned to appreciate the leg moving the way it should be moving versus something else. So really, like, gratitude and just grounding. And it's funny, like even like the cross on the back. I mean, I'm not an institutional religious person, but there's too much dogma. But I'm a very spiritual person in life. I go out in front of my house and the trees and the sun's coming in. I'm like, wow, just the fact that we're here, whatever this is, just the fact that we're here is amazing. And the variety, like, the minute I slow down, first I see whatever's there. Then if I stop and look, then I start seeing that, there's a hawk, and there's a squirrel, there's at certain times of night there might be a fox running around. And this is in the suburban area, so it's not remote at all. It's Bethesda, Maryland, outside of DC. um so I just take it in, no matter, and I intentionally have not checked my phone yet. And I take my dog for a walk, and then I come back and I work out. I started doing more yoga. I need to get the body right. Physical health is a area of focus right now. um and and you know, take my time with working out. I still haven't checked my phone, and shower and clean up. And literally at 10 a.m. is when I would show up to my desk like this and to organize the day's priorities and start interacting with people. And if I need to be on the road, that's when I would go do that. So it's a 3 hour routine, right? I don't commute anymore. I travel from time to time to speak. But I used to commute 4 hours a day round trip to an office. And that's like, wow. Then work
Mm.
long days at the office, CFO kind of stuff. Um, Thank God my wife was taking care of the kids because I wasn't going to do it. I was up early and out and coming back late. And thank God I had the weekends with them. So that kind of routine. And then I'll take like midday, I'll go for walk number two. Right, I got to get movement in the body kind of thing. And then at night, my wife and I walk together and that kind of thing. A lot more movement and more intention. I'm listening to certain things throughout the day. Um, that there are certain things like that you and I are members of a group, and there are certain teachings and audios there. So I go through those, and every time I go through, there's something else that stands out that that helps me have a little more clarity about what's important. So very intentional, very different than 30 years ago.
I was gonna say, as you get older, I feel like you become more grounded. I don't know if that's even the word, but more grounded in who you are and what you need spiritually or soulfully than what you need
Yeah,
materialistically wise, you know? And I will say, I love that you said you wake up and you're grateful because I tell my listeners all the time, the first thing you need to be thankful for is that you open your eyes in the morning. I know because I deal with some health issues, that is the first thing I'm thanking God for in the morning. And I
yeah,
agree, you have to have a routine. And I wish that someone as well um, would have told me that in my 20s because I was a little, floundering even as a single mom for, 10, 15 years. Um, but always had that routine with the kids, but never my own routine.
yeah,
So I'm glad that I'm at the stage I am now where, like I get those set routines down. And it does, I think, make you more valuable to society. And it also helps you get through your day,
yeah.
knowing that you can rely on those things.
Yeah, if you do those things first, the rest will be okay. And
Exactly. Yeah.
what's funny, professionally, in the finance area, for my focus has always been how to grow, private businesses with more clarity and confidence. Which finance and accounting by definition is very task orientated, not necessarily the people that other people want to hang out with. And it's funny how this journey where like growth CFO of business building, it literally is about people, right? How do we help peers use the numbers to make better decisions? How do we make sure that they have the funding they need to do the priorities that are going to drive outcomes so that everybody's better off, right? When the
Right.
company's doing well, there's opportunity for everyone to do well by doing good. Um, so it's funny how over the years my focus used to be like task, let's get the financial analysis done, the multi-year financial flight plan, which those are important, but the emphasis more is on how do we help somebody use and have clarity and evaluate the right option at the right time. And I think a lot of this is second mountain kind of stuff where it's your first mountain is grinding the way to take care of the family, learning about what's important kind of thing, providing whatever it is that a person might do. Second mountain is like, what's really important. That quite frankly, I think Generation Z, I think they do got this right, where it's the work is important. I love what I do, and there's all what else is important, right? It's going to be the people, the relationships, and how you come through for each other. So I think they get a lot of that. They get a bad rep for good reason. Um,
Yeah.
but there's an element, and I think COVID accelerated that. Like you had people working 60,
Mhm.
70, 80 hours a week, and relationships may not be so good. I mean, it may be broken, right? And then it caused people to really pause and wonder, well, what else? And why should it take 60 or 70 hours a week to provide and do well? right? Why really? That's what it takes
Right.
for a human being. Seems like a lot of effort for the basic
Yeah.
outcome. So
I agree with that sentiment because I don't think anyone should have to work that many hours. Um, I work 40, maybe 42 a week, but then I have this and I take care of my elderly parents. So, but
yeah,
um, I I know that I think I heard something recently where they were trying to go to like a 4-day work week. Someone in Congress had proposed that, and I'm not sure that would work either, but it sure sounded good.
yeah. Worth considering,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And the work from home option has been really good for lots of people, where whether it's
yes.
full or partial, you can live where you want. Cost of living is healthier, closer to the family members, maybe.
Mhm.
Um, I think some people still struggle with you got to be in the same area to do work. I don't. I mean, right? If there's a big company, you could very easily have people in different offices around the world with different time zones and different languages and everything else, very easily. And how is that any different than, as long as you have the right kind of person, right? If a person isn't passionate about what they're doing, they're not going to even do a good job when they're in the office. Uh,
Right.
or they might pretend, they might do more, but are they really into it, into what you're doing in your business? I mean, so I think we're at a
Yeah.
major influence point as far as society, how we work, how we relate to each other, what we expect from the leadership class. I think it's going to. I think things will come together in the early 30s, the 2030s. I think it's going to be kind of a rowdy event between here and there with the election that's
Yeah.
just ahead of us, and the technology advancements like AI and robotics and blockchain. I mean, it's going to fundamentally change what people do.
I
And
agree.
yeah, Web3, where you own your data, not Facebook, right, or Amazon. I mean, how does that, how does that impact their business model?
Right.
So, so lots of uncertainties, can't quite see around the corner, but somehow I think human thriving, the net good is going to be there. A little bit concerned about a lot of times people don't retrain, they don't retool. If they've been a somebody doing task level work on a computer, like an accountant or even a lawyer, paralegal, or architecture. If you've been doing task level work, processing transactions, it could be order forms or something, or doing sales. If a person's doing task level work on a keyboard, wake up. That AI is already can do that to the
Yeah.
80% completion level better than most of us, right? So, and then robotics are pretty, like, Optimus, Elon Musk solution and Boston Dynamics. They have robots that are already, man, physically way
I know.
better than I'll ever be,
I know.
right?
It's kind of scary the way it's moving so fast. I know like my
Yes.
job, they're going to incorporate AI positively, in the next probably year. But I agree. I think with COVID, my struggle, because I worked from home since 2020. My I had to get over the seclusion
Yeah.
initially. So I had to work on myself not to become an introvert, to get out, get outside, your job is will still be there tomorrow. But um yeah, it's kind of scary at how fast it's going, but I also feel like this is the time for people to be authentic, because AI doesn't have that authenticity of a human, right? It can
Yeah.
do our job, it can do our tasks, it can do it to perfection. But
Hmm.
to have a human who is authentic, which I hope that that's what this show really portrays, AI can't do that.
Yeah.
And so we'll have that at least. But yeah, you're right. It's all going and it's going pretty quick. So
Yeah.
everyone needs to be on their toes.
AI doesn't have a soul, right?
Exactly.
And the fact that we're humans and imperfect and this kind of stuff, that's the beautiful thing about us, right? We really have to do
Exactly.
to take that next step, being remarkable, doing our thing. We have to put something into it. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a challenge, struggle forward kind of stuff. It, it it's going to open up new possibilities. Like for example, if you're working from home, a lot of people are isolated now. Right, and the level, we have social media, but we're lonely. I mean, we as
Mm,
globally, and so it's this contradiction. So what does that mean? Like, how do we, we had to do more. Maybe there's rec center. I remember when I was in Germany, after work they have rec centers, and the rec centers it's not just a place to work out; it's a social life, right? You
mm,
might have your sport, but you also is your friendship group is there. You socialize, and there could be other things besides sports, right? Not everyone is into that. Um, Hobby life is talked about, right? Where you get your challenge out of since you
yeah.
know abundance. So um, I think the possibility of these fundamentally different orientations on how we are with with each other and work and kind of stuff, and it's
Yeah.
don't quite know what that picture looks like.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really does. I'm hoping that it's, the people still go out and they still see each other. I know that it's as a single person dating with this introverted kind of society in the last couple of years is so hard.
Yeah,
It's kind of not even at the top of my list just because it's too complicated.
yeah.
Um,
I don't think. I think when I go out, I see a lot of women who are out. The men are like at home doing something else, bike riding, playing video games. I don't know.
I
Um,
don't know what they're doing. Yeah,
yeah, I've seen videos about people trying to meet like in a Home Depot and stuff, and that's it's it'll sort itself out, but it's got to be we got to be intentional. How do we come together and that kind of stuff? So
exactly. And I think that's the word, is being intentional. Like we need to be intentional with whatever we do. Um, that's the only way that it's going to get accomplished, right? But
yeah,
um, it's it's amazing to me how even when you're intentional, though, you almost have to take a deep breath and think about what you want to be intentional about because
yeah,
it doesn't seem like to me there's a straight line forward in today's society where 10 years ago you could go from point A to point B, and
yeah.
now we're kind of having to do a little bit of a, you know, wiggle through this, wiggle through that kind of thing. But I agree. I really feel like the whole premise of soul hygiene is to bring people out of their shell, out of their mindset, their negative mindset. And I
Yeah.
think being intentional and positive about things, having a routine, having habits, it's a really good place to start. So can you tell us a little bit about your book? Or
Mhm.
have you written more than I saw the one that you wrote,
Yeah.
and it was mostly for CEOs but I like the fact that you're encouraging the upper management to be better or to, you know, really, I can't remember how you put it in your book, but to
Mm.
strive for more, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you could, yeah, just tell us a little bit about what you do
Yeah.
with
You
them.
got to give a visual there. That's the
There it
book.
is.
Oh, right. That's like that. So the book is called the Growth CFO Void, and I wrote it back in 2021 with Forbes and that kind of stuff. And it was at a point where things were really coming together, like going from reimagining what a CFO is to a growth CFO, because a lot of times, um, business owners they don't enjoy talking to the finance person because you go to the finance person, you're excited, you got these ideas, and what does the finance person tell you? Don't do it. It's not safe. We
Yeah.
don't have money. How about help me? Help me, right? If I was playing it safe, there wouldn't even be a business here as a business owner, right? And so the growth CFO is that business building experience, reimagining what a CFO is to a growth CFO, which is more like a navigator to the business owner that's the pilot. And you know how it is with business owners. At some point, they get stuck. They're not sure what the right options are. They're not right decisions at the right time. it gets, as a business grows, where there's more things beyond the line of sight, it just gets more difficult for us to figure stuff out as business owners. So this introduces, well, what would it be like, to have it, the growth CFO, where it's helping you, what is your destination? What do you care about? What do you really care about? Your life as a human, and that becomes the guiding light on how to build a business. Like, what is the right role for you? You get all these active hours doing things that business owners weren't, not born to do, and it just drains their energy. How about we build a business where you don't do those things anymore, right? You can delegate with confidence, so it focus on what you were born to do, which could be even partially retiring. You don't have to work 40, 50 hours in that business. Maybe it's 20 hours. And then you have time
Hmm.
for other things you care about. Maybe it's a different business. But whatever it is, figuring out that destination, and what is that, that business owner's life looks like a pie chart from a time standpoint. Then how do we build the business, future org chart, and the flight plan? Very practical, very intentional. What are the different options, and how do we get there, and do it in a way that's not just financially viable, but financially optimized. I mean, like I remember when I was a full-time CFO, it was almost like taboo talking about household income, right? Like, in hindsight, why is that taboo? Like, now, growth CFO, like, let's start with the household income. What do you need to cover the basics? And what does financial freedom look like for you? You got money for the expected and unexpected, and then you're really doing the things. You have the resources to do what you really care about. What is that? Let's lay it out, because once we know the number, let's build the business based on that. And then literally what products, services, that kind of stuff. Because if the business owner is doing well, a lot of people are doing well, right? And most business owners that I work with, they do care. So let's get to that abundance. And so that's what a growth CFO is. And how to we use the numbers and data to mine for gold, take on the obstacles of a business. The key activities for a business are getting customers, keeping customers, people capacity to deliver on the level that you want things delivered on, access to capital, and then financial performance, right? Those as key activities. If those things are working, then it comes together, and we establish that through habits. We're developing managers. Most managers aren't, especially small business, aren't confident using the numbers. Plus, they're concerned if you start using the numbers, you're going to drive accountability, right? With the numbers, you're either over or under.
Right.
Um, so there's lots of reasons for managers not to want the growth CFO, but when they realize that the growth CFO is there to help the peer not look good, but just perform good, more confidence, right? Doesn't matter if the numbers if you're over or under, and there's no judgment. Let's see things. If we're over or under, let's just see it, so that the manager can identify what the right action is and be proactive. And then the growth CFO plays a role of the growth CFO, where, hey, yeah, that's a good recommendation. I understand where my peers coming from. We have the funding for that, and we can make sure, if we take a new initiative, that the manager is getting the outcomes that are expected. And if they're over or under, they see it they see it early. They can take action proactively. So the growth CFO is something like that kind of person, which is different than what a lot of people might have experienced in their professional life, what a CFO or a controller type person might say. Does that kind of help paint a
No,
picture?
I completely understood everything you were saying. Um, but why I was smiling was like everything that you said, you could write a book and call it I Am the CEO of My Life.
Yeah,
Because when you were talking, I was like, that could relate just to one person. How do you wake up? How do you habit? How are your finance? Um, being in the top 2% of the human race,
yeah,
you're the CEO of your life. And so I like how you explain that, because I mean, it is important that we have good CEOs of companies. I mean, they employ, they, you know,
yeah.
that's the driving force of our economy. So I think a person like you is very important. Sometimes CEOs can lose track of their they can lose their way a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think you're that person to kind of bring them back and be like, okay, let's. Let's get back on
where do we
track.
really want to go?
Right.
For a business that's been around for more than a few minutes, there's legacy stuff. Like there's certain products.
Mhm.
We're losing money on these products. We're losing money with these customers, like 80/20. Like we want more customers. Do you really want more of those customers? But the ones down here, they don't like you, and you're losing money there. And you got to have a big customer support team because there's so many complaints. There's nothing you can do to make
Yeah.
them happy. How about we send them to the competition? But what about those the 20% driving 80% of our results? Pareto principle. With data you can see this. It's probably actually 4% driving most of your results. Um, who are they? Do we know who they are? Do we really know who they are? Do we know where they buy from us? Do we know why they're so happy? I mean, we're having a love affair here. The growth CFO working with the peer in sales and marketing, it can help like illuminate that. And then once you start, where do we have gaps and blind spots? You got two people of different backgrounds, shining the lights and using their skills. Then you start to have a real clear path. You can actually do less. There's a fairly big company in El Paso, of all places, government contractor, commercial cleaning all over the country, $30 million, which is big, right? We work with companies from $1 million to $5 million on up. Huge, 30 million, only 9% of businesses make it past $1 million. So if somebody's doing 5 million, 10, 15, 20, 30, man, they're way out on the spectrum on success. And the $30 million of cleaning, that's a lot of cleaning. Then household income was, low six figures. And you could almost work at any job and make low six figures for this type person. And we start doing the 80/20 analysis. You could literally stop doing $23 million of all that work, all the people you got to hire, all the material, all the trucks that break down, stay with the 7 million that you're actually making money on, and triple your household income, like almost with a stroke of a pen, right? Just making decisions and either get these contracts where they're profitable or get rid of them. But they went out to the market, they bidded based on price, they won a bunch of contracts. Yeah, for every extra dollar of work, you lose 50 cents. It wasn't that much, it was more like 7 cents or something. So, but once you see it, you can't unsee what you see, and the clarity of the
Yeah.
numbers. So can you imagine doing like what 1/4 the work, and you're able to 3 extra household income and have a smaller team that you can really take care of and love, your employees? I mean, and at least it's an option. What would that be like? Um, so the numbers finance is almost like a nervous system that goes throughout the body. You can see no matter where the online is site, no matter where things are happening, you can see it. You can see it with the customers, operations, what's giving you lift, what's giving you drag, and then start making decisions intentionally, right? And it doesn't help anybody to be in a company that's struggling and financially that's literally bleeding out. Not People get nervous and start
Yeah.
feeling job insecurity. So
Have you ever had to deal with a CEO who was just like completely against what you were trying to do, but in the end, you were able to get them on the right path?
yeah, when you start to ask the question, the first thing is comes to somebody who was a CEO, business owner, brought us in because they went from a large company to a much, not a small company, smaller, never got there. And
Mm,
the reason why he was too guarded, right? Didn't want us to even have the growth CFO. We work on 3-person teams, so it's not one person. But there's a mindset. Wouldn't give access to the accounting. We need view only access to accounting system so that the third person on the team can make sure the numbers are good, valid. Maybe there's opportunities to collect money faster, so you're getting velocity of money. Maybe. And I understand. Yes, every business owner has skeleton in the closet. Yes, we all cut corners. Yes, we might have our cousin on the payroll or whatever. Got it. We all do it. But there's got to be a level. We're not the IRS. We always have the business owner's best interest at heart, no matter what, right? Even if there's
mm,
non-compliance and that kind of stuff. So, man, trust. Let us see what's seeable. Let us do the analysis, and we'll come away with 1, 2, or 3 things that we really move this in the right direction, and work with with the peers, your managers, your leaders across the company to help really find out what could be an optimal option. So that's a place where he never. I mean, yeah, I'm a Texas informed armor guy. I can move it. I like to move fast, but if you want to move slow, I can live with that to a certain
Yeah.
extent. Not to the extent where now we're not making payroll, and um, we could have avoided this, right?
Yeah.
So somebody
You seem
trust.
like a well-mannered, kind of laid back
Yeah,
person. So I can imagine that there are some CEOs who are very obstinate in the beginning. Um,
yeah,
so to be able to navigate that, um, that fits right in with what the podcast is, right? So that's, I think it's just amazing, like how you navigate the whole business world. And yet I see there's so many aspects where all of that can be one person's life.
yeah.
Um,
It's very it's
managing your
very
own
relevant.
CEO life. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go there. Let's go a little bit. So exact same thing applies. Like you and I have a life. You have a life. I have a life. What's that vivid vision of your future self? Like why are you here? Your purpose, to the extent that any of us know right now. That's equal to the destination in the business, right? So that makes sense. And then what are the key things you want to do in your life? Your bucket list, right? And what are you thinking about multi-generational legacy? And I intentionally didn't say well because I'm a trustee on certain families. I've seen families manage the money well, but they don't manage the human development well. So I'd focus more on how do you help people come into themselves, right? Where they're confident in the life they have. And then there is the financial resources needed. So how do you, as a CEO of yourself, how do you line that up? Preferably with passive income at some point, right? Where you don't have all the active hours, you got passive income covering all or part of what you need, and then you're free for other purposes, relationships. So TJ, 100%. I think you're right. The same. If you have a lot going on, if you have a household and rental property and businesses, maybe you want a bookkeeper accountant keeping track of that so you can see it, right? You can see what each house is doing. You can set yourself up asset protection, your holding company LLCs. So if somebody falls down in one of your properties, they're not coming to take all your properties, right?
Right.
And you can do it with privacy, where if a creditor or lawyer wants to see if you got anything, they do a search and they found, dang, Kirk's got nothing, right? He doesn't even have a car to sleep in. That's a good outcome. And there's ways of doing that that are very cost effective, but most of us don't know that, right? Unless we've tripped over a landmine here and there, or unless we collaborate with each other like you and I are doing right now. I mean, how do you set up a life? So that's part of the growth. CFO wants to make sure your life is straight. Then they know how to build the business to suit your life and instead of being misaligned with you, it's fully aligned with you, and the follow through is better. But I love how the same principles apply.
Yeah, they did. I think you should write a second book.
I think you call it the CEO of yourself. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You'll be shocked when you see it out there. Like, dang it, I want royalties. Okay, that's fair.
Well, I mean, I think it just goes right along with everything that you already do, and I think you would be a good author of it, you know?
Yeah, I appreciate
Um,
that.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, um, I think we'll have to do another episode when you have some time and you're not Mr. Busy out there fixing everybody else's.
Yeah, jumping into the fire. I have a great team. My growth CFO. There's 29 of us globally doing this stuff, and I'm moving towards the life piece of it.
Oh, good.
With the group that you and I are both part of, I'm learning things like I don't I don't have all I don't know about passive income and these things, but
Mhm.
I'm learning from other people and I'm bringing that into life to make sure my growth CFO clients are doing well. But my team, they they, they, they got that.
I got it. Yeah, so you can enjoy your life, and I know one of the principles is, letting go of being the leader, right? Really trusting your people that they know what they're doing. So that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And plus your son just got married, so now you can
Yeah.
enjoy that and you
Yeah, my
know.
oldest son, he's not, he's 26. We were talking about this, but he's
Yeah.
He's a West Point Military Academy graduate. He's been a platoon leader of 10th Mountain Artillery. Went to Syria before the most recent war, and
Oh, wow.
so he's had some experiences. Um, I watching them because for a 26-year-old to do, it was hot even back then. There was stuff going on, and so now he's back and married. And there's certain things, as a father, I want to encourage him to do some of this inner work. I'm not sure if you ever heard like become aware of unconscious
Mm,
things so that they don't impact the person's decision. I'm
right.
I'm literally next week gonna. I had a good experience with Janet Hogan. I did this work with her a year and a half ago, and I was stuck, and she helped me get unstuck by becoming more aware of things. Just phenomenal person and program, and I'm going to encourage him to do that. But I know at 26 years old, you've been to hell and back, and it's better for him to become aware of how that might be played out, and so he can be let it be healthy. So I'm going to encourage him to do that. Next week, I brought a mastermind with his peer group of Army officers who are his age, and so next week I'm going to bring this experience share to them, because that's important, TJ, to
Yes.
don't get stuck. Life has plenty of
Yeah,
like law and conditions. Is a bad Don't let a bad experience define the ceiling. I mean, sometimes business owners
exactly.
try stuff. Yeah, it doesn't all work out of court, but you want to see it at a point where you're not betting the farm and be able to go left versus right if needed, where you're
Right.
not draining the fuel out. And of course, everything doesn't work. If it did, can you imagine?
Right.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I am so excited and I thoroughly enjoy you. And I think we definitely have another episode in the future whenever you have some time. But is there some contact information that someone can reach out to you if they have questions, or how do you work with clients, or that, if you have a client email or something like that, or website?
Yeah, the best way to get hold of me is go to my website, kirkwmclaren.com, and there's a button there if you want to schedule a call. Just grab whatever time you want. I was a behavioral scientist in the Army in a different life, so there's probably not then business owner, married with children. There's literally nothing we can't talk about because it's a life, and it does get messy sometimes.
So much expertise, and I encourage anyone who it has a company, is a CEO of a company, if you're struggling, definitely reach out to Mr. Kirk. I mean, he's just a wealth full of knowledge and experience, and I know he would do you good. So I will definitely put his information in the bio like we always do. And I just want to thank him so much for joining us today. I was so excited for this, and I'm so happy we got to connect like this. And we will definitely be doing this in the future. So thank you so much.
PJ, I look forward to our next conversation.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Soul Hygiene. We will see you later.